You're watching E.T.N. Share and subscribe.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video we're going to do Godzilla 30 for 30. Yes. Episode 2 on 30 for 30. 30 Godzilla videos discussing 30 different random topics for your viewing pleasure. Alright guys, so this video we're going to talk about Godzilla's biggest rival. Godzilla has fought many monsters over the course of all the years he's been in existence. And when I think about all the monsters he's fought, he's had some epic battles. He had epic battles with Mechagodzilla on numerous occasions. He's had epic battles with some lesser popular monsters like Gabara and Megalon. An epic battle against Hedorah and Godzilla versus a smog monster, Ghidorah, Mothra, I mean, you name it. He's fought them all. But there's got to be one monster that is considered Godzilla's biggest rival. And when I sat down and I thought about this, I came down to two monsters who I thought were his biggest rival. And it came down to Ghidorah and Mothra. Now, at the end of the day, I had to go with Mothra as his biggest rival. And the reason, and I know Ghidorah seems like the obvious choice, but really when you sit down and you think about it, Mothra always gave Godzilla the hardest time. You know, Ghidorah, he faced him one-on-one back in the 90s, and he handled him pretty well. And then the other times he's faced him, he's had a little bit of help. Monster Zero, he had help with Rodan. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, he had help with Rodan and Mothra. Destroy All Monsters, he had help from a whole group. So they've never had too many one-on-one battles, but you could definitely consider Ghidorah a close rival because they've fought each other so many times. GMK, where it was flipped, where Ghidorah had the help from Mothra and Baragon. So they've definitely had epic battles. But I really think Mothra is Godzilla's biggest rival when it comes down to monsters fighting, because Mothra always seemed to get the best of Godzilla. Always. And it was always, don't get me wrong, it was always kind of the same thing happening. The mother Mothra comes in, fights Godzilla long enough to hold him off while the egg hatches. Then she dies and the larvae come out and they fill Godzilla with webbing. And we've seen it happen numerous times. But nevertheless, a victory is a victory. One way or another, a victory is a victory. And Mothra has definitely had numerous victories against Godzilla. Now, Godzilla's definitely held his own against Mothra a number of times. GMK, even though Godzilla was considered the villain, this is still a Godzilla versus Mothra battle. And and let's face it, Godzilla blew Mothra out of this, literally set her on fire and blew her away. And of course, in other movies, there have been, Tokyo SOS, where he fought the larva again, and this one, the larva went Super Saiyan when the mother died and the eyes turned red and all that. So, but I really think Mothra is probably Godzilla's biggest rival. It's a battle that's gone on for many years. It's a battle that's gone back and forth. But Mothra, compared to Ghidorah, has bested Godzilla more than once, where Ghidorah has never really bested Godzilla at all. Some can argue that Ghidorah's best fight against Godzilla was Kaiser Ghidorah in Final Wars, which is probably the only time I could recall ever seeing Ghidorah really give Godzilla a run for his money. But outside of that, Ghidorah really never, and to be fair, Ghidorah, it was never a fair fight. It was often not a fair fight. But when it was a fair fight, Godzilla handled Ghidorah fairly well. And even when Ghidorah came back in a mech form, Godzilla shrugged it off and continued to whip that ass. So I really think when it comes down to it, I think Mothra is Godzilla's biggest rival. I think Mothra is definitely the one that gave Godzilla the most run for his money. And it'll be interesting to see now that we got Shin Gojira coming out, and now that it looks like Toho's back on the fray, whether or not we'll see an epic battle between these two monsters again. We do know for sure that we'll see them on screen again soon in the in Godzilla 2. But how that's going to play out, we don't know. Whether or not they'll be enemies, whether they'll turn into allies, we're not sure. But it's nice knowing that we are going to see them on the screen again one way or another. And I would definitely be interested to see if Toho is going to bring the two back on screen one day in the future to have another battle to maybe finally settle the score. But until then, we'll just have to wait. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. What do you think? Do you think Mothra is Godzilla's biggest rival? Or do you think it's Ghidorah? Or do you think it's another monster? Let me know in the comments below. We'll discuss it. Until next time, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. You can follow E.T.N on Facebook, Twitch or Twitter, or join the Nation Facebook page. Don't forget to click that subscribe button on your way out.